Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Today we are going to take a look at all of the features and deliverables that started work in the month of April. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and if you do appreciate my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. So each month I like to put together a video that takes a look at all of the work that is kicking off each month, but also finishing each month, just so that we can all keep more informed as to what work is going on in the background. Now, before we get to it, just because a feature on the progress tracker has work beginning or completing in a particular month does not necessarily mean that it will be released that quarter, the next quarter, or even in that year, as there could still be more work required from other teams like downstream teams, audio, visual effects, and so on. Or even priorities can shift and it can get pushed back until needed later on. It is, however, a good guide to see what could potentially come to the PU when, but at the very least, it shows us what work is being done at what time in the year. So with that said, let us take a look at all of the features and deliverables that had work starting last month in April. So let us kick off with one feature that I am very interested in checking out. It is the AR, or Augmented Reality, and Map Marker System rework, which says it is reworking them with building blocks, which should also improve the usability and functionality as well. So a great new addition to accompany the map itself. Thankfully, it only has 11 weeks work, which kicked off in April and will be finished next month, mid to late June. So as I say, when we do see this come along, it should be along the same time as the actual new map rework as well, providing a lot more quality of life and usability and functionality for the map, and I'm really excited to see both of these come along. Next, we have two ships, the first one being the Argo SRV, which is the tugboat style ship designed to track to either large containers of cargo, ships stranded in atmosphere, or even ships stuck in the middle of nowhere. So a great little support craft designed by one of my favourite manufacturers, Argo, and this had 35 weeks work, which kicked off around mid-April, but won't be finished until mid-December at the end of the year. So quite a long while before we will probably see it in game, and I suspect this will be a ship to see next year, but we will likely be following along with its development in shows like Inside Star Citizen. The second ship is the monstrously big MISC Hull E. Now, this ship is the biggest of all of the Hull series, coming in at around 372 meters in length, and capable of carrying just shy of 100,000 standard cargo units. Do bear in mind though that this work is from the vehicle concept team, likely going back over the ship to bring its concept back up to the current standards in mind, so these specifications may change somewhat, but according to the progress tracker, the work kicked off very early April and only lasted 7 weeks, so it should be done by now. But we are yet to see the Hull C, which I think Chris did mention in his lecture as one ship we will see this year. So we have the Hull A, we'll have the Hull C by the year's end, so I wouldn't be expecting the Hull E to come this year though. Now, another deliverable that should be done by now are the doors, airlocks, and light panel UI. Now, this is from the Squadron 42 UI team, but it is also applicable to the persistent universe, and it says creating new user interfaces for door panels, airlocks, and light panels using building blocks. Now, this, once applied to the PU, will bring all appropriate panels up to a good consistent standard, and although I'm not sure if this is applicable to ship UI panels or just environment panels, or maybe both for that matter, it will certainly be a great quality of life improvement when they do begin rolling this out to the PU. It has 4 weeks work, which started mid to late April, and again should be done by now according to the progress tracker. Next up, we have Ladders Tier 1. This is from the active feature team and improves freedom and control while traversing ladders. So players will be able to aim and shoot weapons, use gadgets, heal, and complete other one-handed actions. Plus, they will be able to dodge to the side and avoid gunfire or falling debris. So quite the improvement with plenty of new functionality while using ladders. As we know right now, you're just locked into the ladder animation. Being able to do all this other stuff will open the door for a lot more opportunities in terms of maybe going up a ladder to fix something halfway up or access something halfway up. Being able to shoot and defend yourself while on a ladder is very important, or heal. Plus, this whole dodging to avoid gunfire or falling debris, as much as this will be applicable to some very rare cases, I would think, in the PU, I think it's more applicable for Squadron 42. Maybe there's a segment where you've got to avoid something falling down. But this has 14 weeks work, which began back at the beginning of April, so completes very early July. Now, from the actor feature team, we have Lean Over Cover, which will be implementing the tech and animations needed to allow characters and NPCs to push into cover objects, as well as look, lean, and shoot over them. Now, I really hope that CIG find a good way to do this. Applying this kind of cover system can be very difficult to get it feeling right and not be a problem, especially in a multiplayer game where actions have actual consequences. In many games, mostly single-player games, the push into cover system or lean system can be a bit of a pain, as oftentimes your character can either get stuck in cover, or you'll go running out when you're trying to lean into cover and stay hidden. So I hope with time and research and development, they can find a refined system that works great, as it would be a very useful option to have in the burst. But it does have 14 weeks work that kicked off early April and ends early July, so they're about halfway through now. Now, the next deliverable is called Player Reflections, and as you can imagine, this feature assures the player will see a believable representation of their character when looking into a mirror or other reflective surfaces in first-person view. Now, how they go about doing this, I don't know, and I think this is definitely going to be more of a Squadron thing than anything, because we have heard they do intend on exploring some form of ray tracing, but that is once they get past the Gen 12 renderer, the Vulkan, and then start opening up more opportunities for other things. So I highly doubt that they're using ray tracing of any form for this reflective surface. So interested to see this come along. Great for checking out that awesome Ninetales armor that you've just looted, but ultimately this will probably get redone when ray tracing is, well, not redone, it'll just be enabled naturally when ray tracing is an option. So I suppose it could be for those who don't use ray tracing. Anyway, this feature has 14 weeks work that began back at the start of April, so again, finishes early July. Talking of checking out outfits, the Star Citizen character art team have been working on some Stanton fashion clothing, and it says both masculine and feminine. And I think these are more gender-specific outfits, like dresses or suits perhaps. And this has 8 weeks work that started early to mid-April, and should be done late to very early June, so we will likely be seeing them in the shops very soon. My guess would be most likely 3.17.2. Now, next up, we have turret usability improvements, which are further improvements to turret gameplay, including giving gunners more flexibility and support when using additional weaponry. Now, not entirely certain what these improvements will be, but any improvements are welcome, of course. Not that turret gameplay is bad anymore, it's actually very good now. But this has 5 weeks work that kicked off mid to late April and will complete any day now. So second to last, well, third to last more appropriately, we have the visor lens rework. Now this is also from the Squadron 42 UI team, but again applicable to both Squadron and the Persistent Universe. This says converting the visor and lens system to building blocks for improved performance and flexibility. So a lot of building block conversions. Building blocks is their sort of tech that allows designers, game designers, not just the UI team, to actually put together their own UI, so kind of empowering the people making a feature to put their own UI to it. We have spoken about this a few times recently, so I won't go into too much detail, but I am really looking forward to getting all the player helmets up to where they want them, with their power up and power down sequences, the varying UIs depending on the helmet type you're using, and the ability to take them off, carry them, and inspect them, and then put them back on again. So lots of changes coming to helmets, coming to UI, but this is specifically updating the helmet and contact lens UI to building blocks to get the new underlying UI tech implemented for them, which also building blocks allows them to iterate on the UI very quickly with different styles, designs, layouts, rather than having to bake them in Flash and then go back and forth to the different techs. The visor and lens rework has 11 weeks work that began early to mid-April and will complete mid to late June. So finally, there are 2 unannounced vehicles. Now I don't think these 2 are referring to the Drake Mule or Anvil Legionnaire, as one has 33 weeks work from the EU and US vehicle content team and vehicle feature team, while the other one has 35 weeks work from the narrative and EU vehicle content team. So I'm assuming these are actual unannounced vehicles that we will learn more about as their work gets closer to completion, with one finishing around mid-November and the other mid-December. So that was all of the work that kicked off in the month of April, according to the progress tracker. Some really exciting features beginning their journey. Really looking forward to the SRV and Hull E. Not that we're going to see either of those this year. There is a potential, but very slim. But they are both going to be very important ships in the persistent universe when all is said and done. Plus all of the work that is going on with UI, the maps, getting some major quality of life improvements to almost all of the UI in the game. So some big significant improvements there. The work ending in April video is still to come along, so do keep your eyes open for that one. But with that said, if you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. We are very close to 50,000 subscribers. That is amazing. Thank you all so much for that support. Also, come and hang out over at twitch.tv/supermacbrother if you would like to chat about all things Star Citizen. Might be on a little 2-week hiatus on Twitch at the moment because the baby is practically going to be here any minute now. So if I'm not live, give it a couple of weeks. I should be live again. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. It does the channel a big favor. Tick the notification bell if you would like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, huge thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.